Good evening and welcome. This is a public hearing of the Zoning Board of Appeals of the City of Evanston. The zoning ordinance directs this body to hear applications for major variations, special uses, and appeals from decisions of the zoning administrator. Depending on the type of matter, this board will either make a final determination or send its recommendation to City Council. Would you please call the roll?
Myrna Aravallo.
Here.
Mary Beth Burns.
Here.
Scott Gingold.
Here.
Violetta Cullen.
Present.
Matt Rogers.
Present.
Mary McCauley.
Here.
Lisa Deacon.
Here.
With 7 members, we do have a quorum. Also present tonight from zoning is zoning planner Melissa Klotz and planning and zoning administrator Damir Latinovich. This is a formal meeting and there will be rules that govern our proceedings. Most importantly, only one person speaks at a time, so all testimony may be accurately recorded. Anyone who wishes to address the board regarding any matter on the agenda will have the opportunity to do so at the appropriate time. Our procedure is to hear from staff on the documents on file and then receive testimony and other evidence from the applicant or appellant. Next, persons who wish to make a statement regarding the matter may do so at that time. Any person with a legal interest in property located within 500 feet of the subject property may present evidence, reasonably question witnesses, or seek a continuance of the hearing. When all supporting and opposing testimony and statements have been heard, the applicant or appellant will be given the opportunity for rebuttal or a closing statement. Then the board will close the record and begin deliberations. All testimony will be under oath. Although we do not apply the strict rules of evidence, please limit your testimony or statement to your personal knowledge. When you address the board, please state your name and address and sign in on the provided sheet. Our meetings are audio and video recorded. Please make sure that you are at a microphone when asking questions or making statements so that you can be properly recorded. All proceedings are subject to broadcast at a later date. Any matter not concluded at tonight's hearing will be continued to our next regularly scheduled meeting. There were 2 items posted on the agenda this evening. There was a sign out front. The matter for 2626 Reese Avenue has been withdrawn and will be resubmitted at a later date with notice being given, so I doubt if anybody in the room is here for that unless they missed the sign. Is the applicant for 1152 Ashland Avenue present? Thank you. With that, we'll go to the first matter on the agenda this evening, which is the approval of our meeting minutes for April 19th, 2016. Has everyone had an opportunity to review those, and are there any changes necessary? If not, is there a motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve the minutes of April 19th.
Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I will note that any member who did not vote was not present at that meeting. With that, we will move into the one item we do have on our agenda this evening, which is 1152 Ashland Avenue, and I would ask that that be read into the record.
Jim Valent, contractor, applies for major zoning relief to construct a second-story dormer addition in the R3 two-family residential district. The applicant requests a 1.8-foot north interior side yard setback where 5 feet is required. Zoning Code Section 6847A. The Zoning Board of Appeals is the determining body for this case. Documents included as part of the record include variation application submitted March 23, 2016, standards form, zoning analysis, plat of survey, site plan, elevations, letter of support, image of property, aerial view of property, zoning map of property, and Dapper meeting minutes of April 13, 2016.
Thank you. At this moment, I would ask that anyone who may be speaking to us in the matter of 1152 Ashland Avenue be sworn by raising your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth throughout the course of these proceedings? Thank you. And if you'd please come up to the lectern and state your name and address for the record.
Hi, I'm Jim Valent with Design First Builders.
And Mr. Valent, if you would please tell us about your project.
The current residence is a 1.5-story existing wood frame structure that has on the second floor or built into the attic 2 current bedrooms and a staircase up to it. The only bathroom that is in the residence is located on the first floor, and the homeowner would like to have a master suite or a bedroom or a bathroom added to the second floor.
Okay. So the house is currently a 2-bedroom house or a 3-bedroom house?
2 up, and there's not one on the first floor. There's one on the first floor. One on the first floor.
And so the plan is to put all 3 bedrooms
Now,
On
the
the
plan is
second?
just to add a bathroom to the second floor.
So, okay, so that will be a master suite, though, up on the second floor then?
Yeah, but it's going to be it'll be used as both a hall bath and
Okay.
from the master.
That's where I was getting a little confused. Are there questions for Mr. Valent?
Just to confirm my understanding, the addition on the second floor would not increase any encroachment on the property line, correct? It's just a straight up?
It was just stacking straight up to the structure.
Thanks.
And just to add a little note to that, we looked at trying to analyze to bring in the bathroom with our dormer cut in to avoid being here right now or to any zoning variance. But the way with the stair location and the location of the bedroom and the secondary bedroom, the only place to put it would be onto that north side wall. If we didn't have to do it on the north side wall and the bathroom and the staircase, for example, were flip-flopped, it wouldn't have been an issue. But that's really the only location. And for the depth and the square footage to just get a bathroom up there, we really have to push to that exterior wall.
Any other questions? If not, we do have a set of standards that we must find are met. Before I do that, is there anything you would like to say, Mr. Valent, in closing before we close the record and begin deliberation?
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. So with that, we will close the record and begin our deliberation. You may have a seat if you'd like. There are a set of standards. There are 7 in total that we must find are met for us to grant a variation. The first one of those being the requested variation will not have a substantial adverse impact on the use, enjoyment, or property values of adjoining properties. This is a situation where the addition, which is the dormer, is being built upon the first floor wall. And in these types of situations, we quite often will grant this so that the fact that it only sits 1.8 feet from the north interior side yard, it should not create an additional mass or anything along those lines, since we are building the dormer on the second story as opposed to a third story, which is where we typically see dormers come in. So I believe that this standard is met. Number 2, the requested variation is in keeping with the intent of the zoning ordinance. The zoning ordinance does, from time to time, allow us to grant variations to make housing stock more compatible with modern life. This particular home, I don't know the exact year that it was built, but it appears to be an older frame style home. And the fact that a bathroom was not necessarily something that even existed in bathrooms and houses at one time, and the fact that the applicant wants to put a bathroom on the second story and just sort of expand those bedrooms to make them a little more useful, I believe is a very good repurposing of an existing structure as opposed to a demolition and a rebuild on the property. So I believe that standard is met. The alleged hardship or practical difficulty is peculiar to the property. Again, I mentioned that the building of a second-story wall on top of a first-story wall is something that we see quite often, and to ask an applicant to build the second story in roughly 3 feet from where that first floor wall is existing seems like it would be a difficulty for them, and so I believe that standard is met. The property owner would suffer a particular hardship or practical difficulty as distinguished from a mere inconvenience if the strict letter of the regulations were to be carried out. For the reasons that I just mentioned, we would be doing very little to make the second story more structurally sound. We would just be kind of enforcing a rule that doesn't necessarily make sense in this particular location, so I believe standard number 4 is met. Number 5, the purpose of the variation is not based exclusively upon a desire to extract additional income from the property. Nothing has been presented to us that would lead us to believe that the reason they want to do this is to rent rooms or anything along those lines, which is where this comes in. Yes, it will increase the property values, but we would expect that when there is a remodeling done or an addition done onto a home. So standard number 5 is met. Number 6, the alleged difficulty or hardship has not been created by any person having an interest in the property. This home, as I mentioned before, has been in this condition for a number of years, and so I see no reason to believe that anybody who currently owns the property had anything to do with creating the problem for which they are seeking zoning relief, so that standard is met. And number 7, the requested variation requires the least deviation from the applicable regulation among the feasible options identified before the Zoning Board of Appeals. I will note that in order to try to lessen the impact of this dormering the second story instead of creating a whole new second story and adding an attic on top of that, which is what some people may want to come to us and try to do. This seems like a very reasonable request, and in my opinion, should be granted under this particular standard. Is everyone in agreement with my finding on standards?
Yes.
I am.
With that, I will ask if there is a motion in regard to 1152 Ashland Avenue.
I move in the matter Z16 ZMJV-0022 with respect to 1152 Ashland Avenue that we grant the variation requested, subject to the condition that the property be developed in accordance with the documents and testimony submitted.
Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved and seconded for approval of 1152 Ashland Avenue. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? With 7 votes in favor and none against, the project is approved, and you can work with staff on getting your permits and things like that to proceed with your project. Thank you. With that, we have run through our business for this evening, unless staff has anything that they need to bring to the board's attention. If not, is there a motion to dismiss?
I move we adjourn.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
We stand adjourned until our next meeting, which will be on
Thank you.
May
May 17th.
17th.